The employment of women at once breaks up the family. For when the wife spends 12 or 13 hours every day in the mill, and the husband works the same length of time there or elsewhere, what becomes of the children? They grow up like wild weeds. They are put out to nurse for a shilling or 18 pence a week, and how they are treated may be imagined. Hence the accident, blah, blah, blah. Wild weeds he's talking about. Yeah, well, now they're iPad generation kids, right? But it's the exact same situation. We're being told that this is liberation, when in fact, the overwhelming majority of women have no possibility of being CEOs, of being girl bosses, but are instead just going to be, like the fucking working man, a desexed, exchangeable unit of labor power. Instead of us all becoming freed from work, we're all being freed from families and from having the conditions for intergenerational belonging. And therefore, our children and our spouses, they become what? Nothing but roommates. This is actually something that Engels basically says here. On the next page, he says, a similar dissolution of the family is brought about by the employment of children. When they get on far enough to earn more than they cost their parents from week to week, they begin to pay the parents a fixed sum for board and lodging and keep the rest for themselves. He said this often happens in the 14th or 15th year. Funny, there's actual children working in food service today. But that's honestly, to me, less problematic than the breakup of the family itself. People should learn to carry their own weight. People should learn to do some basic societal chores. But it's only one type of people who ends up doing that. The children of the working class. It's still that way. Bezos' children are not working at McDonald's, right? Middle class people say, oh, well, those low skill jobs, those are just for kids. Those are just for kids getting a little experience. That's not for adults. Adults who are still working there, what are they thinking? Yeah, well, those adults can't find anywhere else to work, first of all. Second of all, why are you thinking that that's where kids should be working? And why are you thinking that's just a phase? Why don't we just turn labor into something that we all do part-time so that we can focus on playing the violin and traveling the world and doing more interesting things and actually having nurturant, strong intergenerational bonds? What about that? Right? There is this approach that just says, oh, Engels, he's just based in this patriarchal time. No, he was aware that this was all socially constructed, right? On a couple pages later, he gets into it. He talks about how, you know what, if these men working at home or staying at home while the women are working in the factory, if that's not something that's fair for those men, maybe it wasn't ever fair for those women in the first place. And maybe something new has to come about. But for now, it's emasculating for the men, and it's dehumanizing for the women, and it's leaving these children without parents. He says, can anyone imagine a more insane state of things than that described in this letter? It was a terrible letter, what he was referring to. He says, and yet this condition which unsexes the man and takes from the woman all womanliness without being able to bestow upon the man true womanliness, or the woman true manliness, this condition which degrades in the most shameful way both sexes, and through them humanity, is the last result of our much praised civilization, the final achievement of all the efforts and struggles of hundreds of generations to improve their own situation and that of their posterity. He's got some pretty high hopes, as every progressive since him has, that the social construction of these gendered roles can change with the changing relations of production. But there's been a bait and switch, and all we have is everybody working. Nobody gets to have real relationships, and it pisses us off, and we're sick and tired of it.